to FBC Sports. This week we're going to go over the Super Bowl from this past weekend, where it came down to a nail biter for sure.
It was a good one. Real good one.
Kansas City ended up coming out 38-35 over top of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a very offensive game, to say the least.
Offensive battle.
So I mean, let's start. Who do you guys think? Which player surprised you the most during this game?
Surprising. I'll go Nick Bolton. I loved him out of Missouri when he got drafted, and he's very good, very talented. But no one saw what he was going to do in the Super Bowl, and I didn't expect it. With 9 tackles leading the team and the fumble recovery for the touchdown, and would have had another one, but it got called back.
Yeah.
It was an incomplete pass, but yeah, he played out of his mind. He everywhere on the field. And yes, the Eagles scored 35 points and had a bunch of rushing yards, but that's not chalked up to one player. And on that defense, he did stand out and got it done. So.
I'd say my most surprising player will be Kadarius Toney. Kadarius had 1 touchdown, but his impact on the offensive side of the ball didn't surprise me the most. It was his impact that he had on special teams. I mean, Kadarius was able to shift the fields. Most of the game, get into Eagles territory. We saw that one big punt return that he had in the fourth quarter, and it was really impressive to me after he was labeled as a bust and a cancer to the locker room from the Giants. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to stick with the Chiefs side of the most surprising players. I'm gonna say Pacheco, running back. Yeah. He surprised me. I did not think they would come in and use Pacheco like they did. I thought they were going to go towards the McKinnon side, but Pacheco put up 76 yards on 15 carries with 1 touchdown, and he was very useful, averaging about 5 yards a carry, I believe what it was. Yeah. But I think Pacheco. I mean, the Chiefs' whole team played very well all around. I would say. Yeah. Now on the. Who was the most disappointing player?
I'll start that off with Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And not only that, he played bad or had a bad Super Bowl, he didn't get the ball. Yeah. He had 7 touches on 7 carries, didn't have a reception, and he only had 16 yards, didn't score. But he's an 1,000-yard rusher on a season,
top 5
in a Super Bowl, and in a phenomenal rushing game, the Eagles. Great offensive coordinator. He's shown what he can do. But Sirianni just didn't give him the ball. And Hurts ran a lot and manned the running game with 15. But a quarterback shouldn't be getting over double the rushing attempts than your number 1 running.
I mean, I don't know if that was from him fumbling on the first play of the game. I mean, he got lucky there, but for a top 5 rusher in the league for yards, he shouldn't be your worst back in the game. He should be getting all the touches pretty much. He shouldn't be sharing touches.
Yeah, I agree. My most disappointing player was on the Chiefs side of the ball, Jerick McKinnon. During the preview, I said that he would be a game changer, as he was all season on receiving. But during this game, he only had 3 receptions for 15 yards, and I kind of thought that I was surprised that they didn't utilize him more because they used Pacheco more than him. I mean, Pacheco was the all-purpose back there after McKinnon carried most of the workload all season with the receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the Eagles side. This was probably the most shocking to me. Hassan Reddick might have had the worst game of his whole career. That was something that I don't ever want to see from a defensive player in a Super Bowl who leads almost, I think it was tied for most sacks in the league or something.
Under
both sides
by 1 or 2.
But for him only to have 1 tackle all game, no sacks, nothing, it's just mind blowing that man. Many people said he should have been in the Defensive Player of the Year talk, and I think that's why he wasn't in it. Because we just saw one of the worst defensive puts by Hassan Reddick. I mean, you're talking last week where he was all over the field against the Niners, sacking, stripping the ball, everything, which he's been doing all season. I just don't know what happened.
I think that's big too, because he might have been one of the most hyped up players for this game with Mahomes' bad ankle. The Chiefs' offensive line got much better, but their history of poor O-line play in the Super Bowl and his dominance in the playoffs and end of the year,
granted, give credit to the Chiefs' offensive line.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
100%.
They did really good.
I don't.
They didn't allow a sack.
Yeah, they did not allow a sack,
No,
which is incredible.
And Orlando Brown pissed about it after the game.
Yeah, I mean that line probably had the best game of their season, which they needed because this Eagles front is a very powerful front.
It's something special.
And I mean, it sucks for Reddick because I hope it doesn't change how the Eagles look at him in the offseason. He could have been getting paid if he had a good game in the Super Bowl. But, I mean, with that performance, I just don't know what they'll do with him. But I think he'd still be a good player, but that was just an ugly performance for him.
Strange to see.
Now, quick question. So, a lot of players were saying that the defensive line is what covered up the play of the DBs. Do you think, based after this game, do you think that is true, or do you think that's false? Like, I know...
Are you talking about the
Debo?
Eagles?
Yeah, like I know Debo Samuel came out and said about the D-line.
No, I disagree with everything about that. The Eagles still have one of the best secondaries in the league, in my opinion. I mean, you look at the stat sheet, their safeties, their corners, they all led the team in tackles. And, I mean, they did give up 38 points. The Chiefs gave up 35. But for what they did, I mean, Travis Kelce did have a great game. But, I mean, they only allowed him 80 yards, which was good. I mean, he could have been at 100 plus. And I do think Juju did get away with one there at the end of the game. I don't know if Bradbury necessarily gave him a little hold, but
yeah,
I still think the Eagles' secondary is one of the best in the league. And I think they'll bounce back next year.
Yeah, I think. I don't think you can judge that secondary on one game, which it seems like Debo's doing all that. Good for Debo. He went out and said Bradbury's trash, and then the next game he had a crucial holding call that may or may not have cost them the game. But don't look at that. Don't look at the one game after Debo says that. Look at
last week. Like, Debo got locked up by Bradbury and Slay. Like, he didn't do much against the Eagles, which
it's something.
Now, I'd agree. The one thing I will say is I think you could probably put more of the point scoring on the defensive coordinator. When you look at their defense in the red zone, there were two passing plays, which the receivers were butt naked open, and they just walked in for a touchdown. Like, that has to be, I don't know, that has to be like either coaching or someone missed their assignments, because you're playing in the biggest stage of football in the world and you just let two plays get blown like that. It wasn't even, it was a blown coverage. It wasn't even like, it was a skilled matchup where they just got beat. Like, it wasn't
that's good. You can't chop, that's good. You can't chop that up to second. That's coaching or miscommunications.
A lot of people have said that was Gannon's worst coaching performance in his career, which, I mean, I think I'd have to agree on that. I mean, they gave up 38 points where an Eagles team was only averaging, allowing, 13.5 points a game, something like that. I mean, both teams they played in the playoffs, I mean, I know they weren't the strongest teams, but they only allowed, 7 points to both of them.
Still hard. I mean, a playoff team is a good team.
Yeah.
When you're in the playoffs, anybody who's in there is gonna be half decent.
Anyone can be.
And I think these two were the two best teams in the National Football League.
I think this panned out to be what the best Super Bowl was possible.
Oh,
that's a great
for sure.
way to put that.
All right, let's step away from football talk. A lot of talking about the halftime show. Rihanna. There's a lot of talks about it. Give me your guys' rundown. Let me hear what you have to think about that.
I liked it. I'm a big Rihanna fan, and I thought it was good. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, the dancing was stupid," or "The song choice wasn't the greatest." Who cares? It was great. She's phenomenal. She got on there pregnant.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think anybody expected from her. what, she had a baby, I think, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And then she
Yeah,
comes
I was
out like
so
that.
surprised.
It was definitely a surprise for many, to say the least.
Yes, yes.
I'm a little disappointed that she didn't have a special guest.
That's
She
the
has-
Her
one thing I
guest
touch on.
was her baby. That is not right.
Yes, her guest was.
Should have been Kanye.
Should have been Kanye.
She has so many features that
Could have
like,
been Jay-Z.
Jay-Z,
Kanye.
Drake,
That was
Kanye. I mean, I know
disappointing.
we know why Kanye wasn't probably on
Dude,
that,
but imagine if Kanye
Get
came
it.
on.
but I think a lot of people were upset about that. Usually halftime shows have more than one singer, but I mean, she put on a stellar performance for just being by herself and
yeah.
being pregnant.
Being pregnant, yes, it was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I felt like the build up. I felt like I was kind of disappointed. Like, I thought she should have introed with Diamonds coming on. I felt like her intro was not like she
Song
just
selection
started.
could have been better.
I mean, a lot of people like that, but I mean,
I don't know. I felt like she could have started off better. Like,
I thought she was gonna start off with "Run This
Bang.
Town."
Oh yeah,
Well,
some
Jay-Z
will
had-
bang.
Yeah, but
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Everything just. I didn't anticipate it to be that way.
Yeah, it was a lot of unexpected stuff there.
for sure.
Yeah,
Especially with the stage thing. Did you see the one guy almost
Stages.
fall
Yeah,
off?
one guy
almost
almost fell
fall.
off.
All the backup dancers.
I mean, they might have had. She might have had 500 plus backup dancers on
Yeah.
the field.
Like,
I mean,
it
that
was
was
Yes.
a lot of people.
That was very, very.
I don't know if you guys caught the. In between her one song, she promoted her makeup.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
When she put on the
She put
makeup.
on that makeup,
Oh,
and
wow.
I saw
Yeah,
something that
marketing.
said it was her brand, and she was promoting it.
Very, very smart marketing
Yeah,
right
I
there.
mean, that's one way to put it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for our little sit down here. Now on to a quick whiteboard segment dealing with the Super Bowl MVP.
During the most recent Super Bowl 57, Patrick Mahomes won MVP. Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback for the Chiefs and led them with 3 touchdowns and 182 passing yards. Mahomes is the first quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP and regular season MVP in the same year since 1999 with Kurt Warner. Thanks for watching.